I want to start off with a broader question. If you could just give a brief assessment of the situation in the Middle East, and what are the, say, two or three things you think are most important for people to, on this call to know about?
Well, clearly the Middle East is back in the headlines. Successive administrations have talked about pivoting away from the Middle East, Obama, Trump, and Biden. But the Middle East has a way of taking a bite out of your backside when you try and turn in the other direction. And we've certainly seen that in this past year since the horrific attacks by Hamas on Israel on October 7th and in the Israeli response. And now, of course, we're looking at a much wider war as Hezbollah has engaged more intensely and Israel has responded more intensely. And now, of course, we're looking again at the prospect of direct Israel-Iran conflict. I go back a fair distance in the Middle East, and it seems to me that 15 years ago, there was a conversation much like today that Iran was a year or less away from a nuclear weapon. So it's 15 years on and they still haven't developed it. But I worry that the capabilities are definitely there, and not just the physical resources, which can be interdicted, but the intellectual resources that they know how to build a bomb have not yet done so. Again, there are very strong reasons for them not to build a device, but I do worry that as their conventional military weakness vis-a-vis Israel is increasingly clear to them and to the region and the world, that's going to push the debate in the direction of nuclearizing.
What's your assessment of the U.S. approach towards Iran?
It's a great question, and I think that what we're seeing in the Middle East is a bad hand played quite well by the administration to make clear right from the outset strong support for Israel in the aftermath of the October 7 attacks. That has not wavered. It has not been popular in this country and certainly elsewhere in the world, but the administration has stuck by it. At the same time, making clear concern over the means that are used to achieve Israel's objective against Hamas, that the collateral damage has been extensive. And now we're looking at collateral damage in Lebanon, something we've seen before and now we're seeing again. I'd like to say just a word about the role of Spirit of America in the region and globally. It is a unique humanitarian NGO in that it is not neutral. We are on the side of the U.S. government and its deployed elements, and those are the three Ds: defense, diplomacy, and development. And we are in support of all of those missions. And I think you see that in particular in Iraqi Kurdistan, where it is a very, very delicate political situation. The Iraqi Kurds have suffered horribly at the hands of the Saddam Hussein regime that ruled Baghdad until 2003, that was involved in literally genocidal actions, the use of poison gas against civilian populations in Iraqi Kurdistan. It's also suffered from Iran. At the time of the revolution, tens of thousands of Kurds were executed by the new theocratic regime in Iranian Kurdistan. So it is a very tense, fraught area populated by people who have paid dearly for their pursuit of a life of independence and some prosperity and security for their families. And yet the going is very delicate. And that is why I think Spirit of America's activities in Kurdistan are so important. But it also underscores the importance of working so closely with the U.S. government, both its military and its diplomatic and developmental efforts in that same region. Because again, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, and Syria may have very different perspectives on many things, but one thing they're all unified on is opposition to any independent Kurdistan. All four states see that as an existential threat to them. And that means U.S. involvement there has to be very carefully nuanced and measured, and very closely aligned again with Washington's larger policy objectives. And I think Spirit of America has demonstrated how a non-governmental organization with close ties to the administration, whichever administration it is, can be agile and effective in furthering humanitarian goals, but also American strategic goals.